Hey, welcome to section 4.
We will be utilizing our scene.sks file as well as doing an additional logic to set up our game world.
Here's a quick overview of what we will be doing in this section. After this video, we will be setting up our game, including rendering the view and track and responding to sessions. In video 3, we will adjust our scene lighting and be shooting targets. In video 4, we will do some level design, including placing our targets and understanding 2D design in a 3D world. Video 5, we will be destroying our targets. So, what exactly are we building? We are building a simple AR shooter app. Unlike our previous projects, we will be utilizing SpriteKit instead of Scene View. What APIs will we be utilizing? Obviously ARKit, including the AR world tracking config, for example, and of course, we will be having a new addition in SpriteKit. For example, we will utilize SpriteKit's lifecycle methods. For example, its update method. We're going to start by creating a brand new Xcode project. Open up Xcode, hit the File, New, Project, Augmented Reality App. Let's call this one AR Shooter Game. Content Technology, SpriteKit. Leave Include Unit Test and Include UI Test unchecked. Next. I'm going to go ahead and save this. What this will do is essentially build us a simple ARKit app. Matter of fact, it's a sample app where if we run it, it'll essentially have Space Invader emojis on screen. So what this pretty much does for us is give us a basic scene as well as a basic project file, and we already have a lot set up for us, including a bunch of files, including our app delegate, scene SKS file, a scene.swift file, a ViewController, as well as a storyboard and a plist that's already set up to handle our camera. If we go ahead and run the app, this is what we'll get. Pretty cool, right? We're going to head to our ViewController and start making changes. So head to our ViewController, scroll down. Again, as you can see, we already have a lot set up for us. So what we're going to do is just set up our session methods. So for the purpose of this section, we won't be really using our session methods. However, we will utilize them to some extent by having a few print statements. So in here, we do session failed, probably due to lack of our issues. Let's move down to session was interrupted. Print session interrupted. Let's move down to session interrupted ended. For this method, we will utilize it a little more than the others. So we'll have a print statement, session resume, and scene view dot session dot run configuration session dot configuration. For options, we'll pass it an array with our respective options, including reset tracking and remove existing anchors. We do this because our camera won't always be in the same orientation or position. So as a result, what happens is that whenever our session does resume, we want to essentially remove the existing anchors that we had and pretty much in our scene, as well as reset our tracking, so we get the correct position and orientation. Let's go to view.load and let's refactor our view.load method. So a lot of it is already set up correctly, but so we're going to do scene.scale mode equals resize fill, and scene.anchor point equals cg point 0.5, 0.5. And of course, we present our scene via our scene view. We will also go ahead and add some additional methods to our app for basically some options that we'll need in terms of the orientation. For example, let's say we go from pretty much portrait to landscape mode. So let's scroll down past our session methods, and we will do override or prefer that is hidden. Actually, this is a computer property, so let's put this here. Override. This one is also a computer property. Should auto rotate. Also return true. And override bar supported interface orientations if UI device .current .user interface idiom phone return all, but there we go, else return all. These methods respectively hide our status bar as seen at the top of the app and provide some additional options should our phone orientation change. And case in point, when we rotate our phone, i.e. going from portrait to landscape. Now we're going to head over to our scene.swift file. In here, we're going to create a convenience property to get a reference to our ARKit view that presents the scene. So up here, let's create that var scene view. View as SK view. We're also going to create a flag when our game world is first set up. So var world first set up. Let's make that false. Now we're going to add a setup world method that will essentially set up our world whenever we start our game. So func set up world. So guard turn frame full scene view dot session turn frame else turn. Now we're going to do world first setup and mark it as true. Let's head over to our update method and add some logic to it. If not world first setup, we're going to call setup world. Doing this logic to our update method, essentially, again, it sets up our world in case it hasn't been set up. And we have a bool or flag, world first setup, which runs and essentially checks to see that our world is set up once. In other words, at the beginning of when our game gets run. Let's run our app. Play. Currently, everything will be the same as our original template app. However, we have made some changes that, moving forward, will appear in our finished product.